Good morning. Hope I don't need that in the near future. Sounds like we might be getting some of that white awful stuff again. Studebaker got to spend a night outside. A little frosty, but you know, no big deal. So let's see where we're at. We're at Frank's garage. Or disasters are us? I don't know. Smells gassy. Gas tank. All kinds of stuff in my way. So, oh, fingers. Let's see. Modified my air jack. The controls are now below the handle. They used to be above, and getting the fitting on was, the air coupling on was difficult, so I put a 90 on it. Now it's way easier. So, new transmission mount to replace the whopped out old one. It didn't fit on the bottom, so I've made a new plate. I just gotta make sure we're square in here again, centered, and then weld it. I'm assuming that these rails are equidistant, so we'll do that. And then I can, well, I gotta lower it and check for square first. I checked the balancer in relationship to the frame. Then if that's done, I can put the pan on, I can put steering linkage on, I can check it. Then I can rattle off a list. I gotta go clean my board and start making a list because there's a bunch of things I want to do before I pull the engine out. But we'll get to that as we start to hit the floor. Somebody needs to light a fire in here. Although it's going to be well above freezing today, fire sure makes it like t-shirt weather in here, and I love it. Okay, so I'll bring you back when I've advanced somewhat. All right, microphone says we're good to go. I think the mic's working. I hope it is. Hope it's not too scrubby or anything. Okay, so we are getting on with that little doodad right there. I have pulled the fuse box and the bulkhead connector and made a template. So let me just sit you down here for a moment. So what I did, straight edge across the top, is I laid this out first, made all my holes, and then I moved it over precisely approximately 1 inch, and I did it again. Then I punched all those holes. Now, the holes that are no longer required are going to get 1/4 inch bolts. I could probably just use drill taps. It's like I'm going to have twice as many bolts in here anyway. These ones get drilled out to 7/16 or 1/2 inch. I got a pilot made for where that other hole needs to be. We go to the other side. Why isn't the pilot all the way through? Well, that's weird. No, it's, oh, there it is. Okay, so the pilot to the other side works out center right there. Oh, sorry, I'm not watching what I'm doing here. So just because of this odd shape, I can see this one's going to need a little trimming, but that's fine. I can waller it out. So what I do, I got my handy dandy hole saw. I place it in the hole, and in here is a bolt that I've put in the lathe and I drilled out. And the reason I do that is sometimes for layout, let's take this out so you can actually see what I'm psycho-babbling about. Am I too close? Let's try. There we go. That's You don't need to be right up in the action, do you? Okay, come on. It's fine thread. I'll tell you exactly what size it is. There, it's that size. I believe it's 5/8 fine thread. So, chuck it in the lathe, just a bolt, round her off, stuff it in, and then place this, and I've got those transfer punches, so I can center punch through this hole, or I can just drop the bit, hold everything in place, and give her a quick zap with the bit, and we're good to go. So that's how I do some of my layout. Not the easiest, but sometimes it's just awkward to get in there with something. So then I can make a pilot and use it. So for most hole saws, that's what you need. And then one for the smaller size, which I believe is 1/2 inch for the other bits. Still 1/4 inch in the center of it. So that's my layout. I'm gonna go lay this out on some heavy gauge sheet metal. It doesn't need to be really heavy because, again, there's already a panel there. I'm just adding a touch to it, like 1/8, not even. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna attempt to cut this out. And then I can use this panel as a pilot for the hole saw. Maybe. Maybe. Oh, I know what I'll do, is I'll bolt it in with a couple 1/4 inch bolts through my weird holes. I'll just drill a pilot, and then I'll go through with everything. That's what I'll do. I'll leave this hole for last with the holes. Oh, that raises another question. I'm assuming it would, because the master cylinder fits. I was going to say, will the drill fit in there? And sight me. Yeah, so this goes here, pardon me. This goes here, like so. It moves everything over just a little bit. It should be fine. And then I'll have to take the air hammer and flatten this a little bit, or cut it out and reshape it, or do something. Maybe a couple of slits, and then I can weld her up again after. Maybe that's what I'll do. It's going to be behind the booster, so it'll be invisible. And then that gives clearance right here. And absolutely no room to work with brake lines. So that'll be fun. What's next? I'm going to cut this out, I guess. I have no idea what time it is. A little off today. Today's Thursday, the 27th, March. So, yeah, the days are just piling up here. So lots went away yesterday, which is nice. But that being said, the weather guessers are saying, like, we're getting a dump of snow tonight and through tomorrow. Yeah, so today is 27th. So moved master cylinder, roughened the rad, tack welded the mounts yesterday, marked up the exhaust, the width's ready to go. Roughened the rad. I kind of don't want to go into the dash and fight with all this stuff, but I'm going to do it anyway. There's a couple of holes, and I guess I'll just lay it out, and I'll use a hammer just to I'll make a hole for this screw sticking out rather than grind it off, because that is part of the hanger, and it will be under, so it really won't matter. Okay, well, I'm gonna go and prep up the plasma cutter and lay out some sheet metal. Talk to you in a bit. Hey, I'm back. Time to bring you in before I go and have a coffee. So I stuffed the linkage back, the steering linkage back. Kind of curious how that's going to work out. The other piece will be fine. I don't have to worry about that strut across. But like, I've got lots of room here, and this lump here only goes to about this point. I should have straightened this. That would have made all the difference in the world, but against my better judgment, I didn't. But this is fine. It's going to be good. There's like almost a finger worth of clearance all under the pan. can't see it, but I welded the back side of this mount. I got to trim it and round this piece yet. Same on the other side, it's welded. Transmission mount is tacked in. So now I'm just fiddling with the exhaust. And I'm gonna make sure I clear the steering linkage and everything. The exhaust is gonna need a slight S-bend through here to get right down that channel. So when we get the bender happening, that's where that'll go. What else? I'm gonna see if I can sneak this manifold out of here. It should slip right out the front or back. If I unbolt it, it'll probably slide right out the front right now, but it won't go back in if my plan works out. So I just gotta pull the oil filter and then carry on from there. Then, what am I gonna do? I need to, at some point, see if the hood fits. There's so many things I want to do before I yank this engine out and swap it over. I want to fit the rad, and I want to fit the master cylinder. Just a few odds and ends while I've got an engine in here before I start yanking stuff apart again. So, I know, less talk, more work. I'm on it. So, I think I'm going to fiddle with this exhaust just a little bit more, and then I'll bring you back. But I'm going to crack this oil filter and get drainage happening. And then I got to start cleaning up this mess of electrical because it needs to go somewhere. That's the crusty pipe. It's very solid. I might go and check my pipe inventory and see if I've got something a little bit nicer. But it's still pretty thick. So I'm thinking it'll work. Okay, well, I'll bring you back in a bit. Well, near as I can tell, my CAD drawing worked out. So let's go and take this and get ready to do some layout stuff on the steel piece. My opinion, it turned out okay. Do I want to even feel like drilling? So there's my CAD drawing, and there's my piece. So it's close enough. Do that. Move it over 1 inch. So what I gotta do, I guess, is I'll do this one first, and I'll drill out all my actual mounting holes. I'll lay that out in the drill press. I'm gonna find a bolt, drill bit that's exactly this size. I'm going to somehow clamp this, and then just touch it with the drill to make a center point, and then I'll get in there with a slightly larger bit than this. So then if alignment works out good, then great. And then I will move it over. Do I even have to drill those? I could just make new holes in a couple spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save myself a whole bunch of layout and design work, because you know how much I love that and how good I am at it. So, okay, I'm going to try this and get back to you. Well, at least I didn't hole saw yet. So basically this goes in there roughly center. I've got these transfer punches in this back pile of the mess here. It goes right there. So you transfer punch, and away you go. So now I'm ready to hog out a hole. I'll just put this stuff away and get on with it. I took one shot already, but somehow I pressed pause, stop, I don't know. So, come on, get out of there. Okay, I'll bring it back after the hole is done and deburred, and we'll understand it together. Well, shall we see how he did? I got this thing here. Oh, ow, ow, ow. This plate goes like this. I said it goes like that. This plate will go like this. And I'm pretty suspicious, yeah. I'm gonna have to take some of this out. So I can do that with the die grinder, and we'll get that fitting. And then, come on, because I don't want to wreck the boot. So this lines up with the old holes, and then I got some metal bashing to do. I can put a couple bolts in to hold it in place, figure out where I gotta be. Touch her up with the hole saw. Shouldn't be that bad of a deal. And yeah, so that'll relocate the brake booster, master cylinder, 1 inch to the east, which is what I want. All these little things I got to get done before I can rip this thing out, swap it over, drop it back in, and try and get some power happening, make this thing run. I really want to make it run. So hopefully it all goes as planned when I get to that point. Okay, well, it's been a privilege to bore you today. I have no idea what time it is because the clock on the wall, well, the battery went to sleep. Yeah, so I don't know what else. I gotta go let the dog out, have a sandwich, probably not come back in here after, which is usually the plan once my butt hits the couch. That and, well, I'm 60. Okay. On that note, again, as always, I'd like to thank you both for watching, and we will see you tomorrow. I'm going to try and get this thing bashed into place, and maybe I'll trim that today. I don't know. I'm going to trim it. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Okay, see you in a bit. Tomorrow. Out of it.